Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of SketchyGOichie. I'm your humble host, Roger Andrews, illustrator, graphic designer, general content creator. And I'd like to thank those who are subscribing to the channel now and invite any new persons to check out and subscribe to the channel. When you do though, make sure you click on the little bell icon, and that will allow you to receive notifications when new videos are uploaded, and then you will be completely in the know. But for now, stay tuned and enjoy this video.
All right, let's talk color. More specifically, let's talk what makes colors work and what makes color in any project, whether it be basically what I'm doing here, just a glorified coloring book, or anything really complicated like a painting or anything. Let's talk about what makes it work, and that is, I'm sure you guys have heard the term, especially anyone who's went to art school or taken an art class, color theory. It sounds really highfalutin, it sounds really challenging, but like most things in life, color theory is just something that once you've learned it, you can kind of master it, and it becomes pretty common. And in effect, if I were to give it a definition, it's just the interaction of colors. There's a certain formula that helps to allow things to really work well in color. That's color theory. So that's what this one's about, this particular video. Just for specifics, I am working in the program Procreate on my iPad, so the app, and it is wonderful for coloring, as you might expect. Even for somebody like me who basically I just color, as I said earlier, kind of like a coloring book. It's just, I draw everything out. If you've seen the previous videos, I kind of sketched this little Mysterio and Spider-Man piece out. And then I went in and inked it all in. And I should mention at this point that it was all in layers. And then I'm at this stage here where I'm applying color. And when I say color theory, I essentially mean there are formulas, there are little rules that come into play for anything you want to render in color. And once you have a sense of those rules, you can make everything look really cool in color. For me, there's a lot of emphasis at this point, what you watch right now, of me sort of applying this outer white outline. I don't know if that necessarily applies to color theory, but it certainly applies to making an image stand out. If you notice right now, I'm doing the coloring on this character on a black background. And the reason being is I thought if this was ever to be a t-shirt, oftentimes a lot of t-shirts are done on black. And so I applied this white outline to really allow Spider-Man in particular to stand out against the black background. Same thing for Mysterio. And then if you really notice, there's a line fill, meaning the line art has been converted to green. If you can kind of see that where Mysterio sort of magic that he's sort of emanating from that palm that's up, that talk to the hand. I guess that would be his right hand on the camera left. And so I think, maybe that doesn't necessarily apply to color theory, but it's certainly a color effect where you, rather than using the black line art that I inked in as black, I just converted it to green. And then, so when I changed the color from that yellow that I initially applied to this green, it really kind of made it come to life, almost made it look like it glowed. And basic color theory, guys, just so you know, is it's kind of the process of applying cool colors next to warm colors, or intense colors next to muted colors. And what that allows your eye to do is focus on either the more intense color or the cool color or the warm color, depending on your usage, or depending on how you apply it, or depending on what area you're trying to emphasize. For me, that is the most basic, rudimentary description of color theory. And as you notice here, I'm kind of playing around. I don't know, got real strobe light and real psychedelic. It actually kind of reminded me of the Spider-Man Far From Home movie segments, where it gets really sort of you get caught up in this sort of this illusion. And this is me trying to render it monochromatically. This is me trying to, again, push the cool color to the foreground and allow the red to kind of push to the back. And then at some point I realized, wait a minute, this is Mysterio, right? He probably should have that dome helmet he wears. And so at the last minute, I sort of created a new layer, which you can do very easily in Procreate, and added that and added a little transparency to it. I will get into in depth on how to achieve all these little effects in future videos. But you can kind of see me toggling back and forth between all this multitude of colors: the green, the yellows, the purples, the reds, the blues, even the light blue to kind of represent the shears in Spider-Man's hand, and the web shooting as he swoops by and gives the cut and is on his way off screen. Again, the whole principle of color theory is taking objects and shapes and rendering them in color in such a way that you define those objects and shapes. And the process for getting there isn't a straight path. It isn't like, hey guys, you do this specific thing and you've got it, you're done. Like most things, it's trial and error, and that's, if you notice those flickering, why this thing flickers on and off, and why it goes monochromatic and then full color, and then why I'm sort of playing with this dome. It's just the trial and error, and that's really what I want you guys to focus on. It's again, I've said it a million times. When I say SketchyGOichie, live your moment, I want you to really embrace that part of the process, this trial and error stage, because once you've locked it in, you're never gonna have that journey again. And it's so rewarding when you apply a color next to another color and it just flat out works. So speaking of flat out work, I really did like it like it is here, monochromatic. Then I realized, you know what? If you're gonna go all in, go all in. So color balance, color theory, warms versus cools, and then you'll have it. Then you'll be cool. All right, SketchyGOichie. Live your moment. Happy sketching, y'all. Leave a comment here and on Instagram and on Facebook. Thanks a ton. Peace.